November 24th, 1971, Thanksgiving Eve. A man in a black suit walks up to the Northwest Orient Airlines counter in Portland, Oregon. He pays cash. One-way ticket. His name? Dan Cooper. Within hours, he would hijack a commercial flight, extort $200,000 from the FBI, strap that money to his body, and leap out of a plane at 10,000 feet into a pitch-black, freezing rainstorm over dense forest with zero survival gear. He was never seen again. But here's what keeps this case alive after 50 years. No body was ever found. No parachute, no real clues, except one thing: money, rotting in the sand of a riverbank, found by an 8-year-old kid. Today, we're breaking down two of the biggest mysteries in this case: the impossible jump and the money that should not exist where it was found. Let's talk about what Cooper actually did that night, because when you break it down, it was either insane or genius. The plane was flying at roughly 10,000 feet. The airspeed, around 170 miles per hour. The weather outside, a full-on Pacific Northwest storm, freezing rain, thick clouds at 5,000 feet, zero visibility. Cooper was wearing a business suit, a raincoat, and loafer shoes. Not exactly skydiving gear. He lowered the rear staircase of the Boeing 727, a feature unique to that aircraft, and just jumped into the dark, into the storm. FBI Special Agent Larry Carr, who led the investigation from 2006 to 2009, was blunt about it. He said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that no experienced parachutist would have jumped in those conditions. Pitch black night, rain, 170-mile-per-hour wind in his face, wearing loafers and a trench coat. It was simply too risky. The FBI concluded he likely did not survive. Here's why they thought that. 1. No proper equipment. No helmet, no goggles, no jump boots. 2. The weather was brutal. Freezing temperatures, heavy rain. 3. The terrain below was dense, rugged forest. Landing there without knowing where you are, almost certain death. And 4. One of the parachutes he was given was actually a dummy training chute, sewn shut, couldn't open. An experienced skydiver would have checked that immediately. Cooper didn't, or didn't know. Here's where it gets interesting, because not everyone agrees with the FBI. Skydiving instructor Earl Cossey, who actually packed the parachutes given to Cooper, said that anyone with even 6 or 7 practice jumps could have survived that jump. And get this, in the months after the Cooper hijacking, 5 copycat hijackers attempted the exact same stunt, jumping from commercial planes at night, and all 5 survived. One researcher even analyzed World War II bailout data. Over 200 nighttime jumps from bomber crews in extreme conditions. The survivors? 91.4%. So was it survivable? Probably yes. Did Cooper actually survive? That's the million-dollar question, literally. February 10th, 1980, 9 years after the hijacking. An 8-year-old boy named Brian Ingram is on a family camping trip. They're at a stretch of beach called Tina Bar on the Washington side of the Columbia River, about 9 miles from Vancouver. Brian is clearing sand with his arm to make room for a campfire, and his hand hits something. Buried in the sand, 3 packets of $20 bills, still wrapped in rubber bands. The FBI ran the serial numbers. It was a match. This was D.D. Cooper's money. $5,800 out of the original $200,000. The rest, never found, to this day. Now, here's where this stops being a simple story and becomes a full-blown mystery within a mystery. The FBI's original theory was that Cooper died near Lake Mervyn in southwest Washington, his suspected drop zone, and the money just washed downstream through rivers into the Columbia. Makes sense on the surface, but the science doesn't support it. Problem number one, the money was found 17 miles from Cooper's projected drop zone. Hydrologists said the math doesn't work for it to have floated there naturally. Point pause. Problem number two, the bundles were found upstream of the main current. Money doesn't float against a river current. And problem number three, and this is the one that really messed with investigators, the rubber bands on the bundles were still intact. If this money had been tumbling through rivers for years, those rubber bands would be long gone. And then scientists found something microscopic that changed everything. Researchers examined the bills under a microscope and found diatoms on the money. Here's the thing about diatoms. Different species bloom in different seasons, and the diatoms on Cooper's bills, only springtime diatoms, no winter ones. Meaning this money did not enter the water in November 1971 when the hijacking happened. It entered the water months later, in spring. So the FBI's Washougal washdown theory, their entire explanation for how the money got there, was scientifically debunked, which leads to one insane question. Did someone place that money there intentionally? So let's put this all together. Cooper jumps from a plane in conditions that experts say are suicidal, but survivable if you know what you're doing. No body is ever found, no parachute, no briefcase, nothing. 9 years later, $5,800 shows up in the sand, in the wrong location, at the wrong time, with science suggesting it was placed there, not washed there. The FBI spent 45 years on this case. They closed it in 2016, saying they needed to focus resources elsewhere. But they never solved it. D.B. Cooper remains the only unsolved airplane hijacking in American history. Now, I want to know what you think. Did D.B. Cooper survive that jump, and did he plant that money to throw the FBI off his trail? Drop your theory in the comments. I read every single one. If you want more unsolved mystery deep dives like this, hit subscribe. We go deep on these every week. I'll see you in the next one.